This is Greg Stewart with FreemasonInformation.com. Symbols and Symbolism. Esoteric Masonry. That secret portion of Masonry which is known only to the initiates, as distinguished from exoteric Masonry, or monitorial, which is accessible to all who choose to read the manuals and published works of the order. The words are from the Greek internal and external, and were first used by Pythagoras, whose philosophy was divided into the exoteric, or that taught to all, and the esoteric, or that taught to a select few. And thus his disciples were divided into two classes according to the degree of initiation to which they had attained, as being either fully admitted into the society and invested with all the knowledge that the master could communicate, or as merely postulants, enjoying only the public instructions of the school and awaiting the gradual reception of further knowledge. This double mode of instruction was borrowed by Pythagoras from the Egyptian priests, whose theology was of two kinds, the one exoteric and addressed to the people in general, the other esoteric and confined to a select number of priests and to those who possessed or were to possess the regal power. And the mystical nature of this concealed doctrine was expressed in their symbolic language by the images of sphinxes placed at the entrances of their temples. 2 centuries later, Aristotle adopted the system of Pythagoras and, in the Lyceum at Athens, delivered in the morning to his select disciples his subtle and concealed doctrines concerning God, nature, and life, and in the evening lectured on the more elementary subjects to a promiscuous audience. These different lectures he called his morning and his evening walk.
Why do initiates have to roll their trouser leg up?
Well, in the 18th century, of course, when people wore knee breeches and stockings, the men actually had to roll their stocking down and just turn the knee breech up slightly. And it was all about the bare knee, really. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine when the trouser revolution happened, early 19th century, and it was like, what do we have to do now? So we have to roll the whole trouser leg up. And it's all about making the knee bare so you can kneel in a sacred spot, sacred place, and that's what it's really about. Again, it brings us back to the sacred space, the temple room, and the obligation as well. So it's all about the knee being there. And there's all these legends. When you go onto the internet, you can check all these legends. They're checking for a shackle mark, or checking to see if the guy's got hairs on his legs to see if he's over 21, and all this kind of stuff. But basically that's it. It's just the knee being there.
Okay.
The candidate for entered apprentice stands behind the door, waiting to be summoned. He's blindfolded, and there's a noose around his neck with a length of rope trailing behind. His chest is exposed at the left breast, and his left pant leg rolled up. The doorkeeper raps 3 times and announces that the candidate desires to enter and obtain the privileges of Freemasonry. With that, the candidate is escorted into the lodge by the inner guard. The guard holds the tip of a dagger against the candidate's bare chest and asks if he feels anything. Next, the candidate kneels before the head of the lodge, the worshipful master, and they engage in a ritual question and answer. He's led by the rope or cable tow to an altar with a Bible or other holy book. Standing with his heels together to form a square, the candidate now kneels. He places his right hand on the Bible and with his left presses the point of a compass against his chest. He swears to forever conceal and never reveal any of the secret arts, parts, or points of the hidden mysteries of Freemasonry. If he breaks that promise, he binds himself to having my throat cut across, my tongue torn out, my body buried in the sands of the sea at low tide. The assembled brothers rise and give the sign of the entered apprentice. Right hand held palm down beneath the chin, with the elbows straight out. The master asks the candidate what he seeks. He replies, "The light." The master strikes his gavel, and the hood is removed. Now the candidate is shown 3 sacred objects: the holy book, the square, and the compass. The master reminds him that he faces terrible retribution should he ever betray the organization's secrets. Next comes instruction in the secret hand sign or grip and the secret word, Boaz. The candidate receives his Masonic badge and the symbolic tools, a gavel and a ruler. The candidate leaves to change clothes and returns to receive the final charges. He is instructed that he must understand the importance of God, must be law-abiding, must abstain from political or religious discussion in the lodge, and must obey the master and other officers. He's again warned he must never reveal any secrets of the Brotherhood. Secrecy, if you haven't noticed, is a big deal.